I mean, we're ice cold. How are you making out, Len Robbins? How are your, how do your opinions go versus results?
I hesitate to bring this up because you never want to throw salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Of a fellow wagerer. But I went 5-0 last week.
Wow, really? Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Doing the winning.
Yeah.
I went 5-0. I went 1-0 on my best bet. I think I'm like 28-16 on the NFL season on best bets.
Nice.
And just to let people know out there, dear God, who art in Vegas, hallowed be thy name. Thy wager comes, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. I want to thank you for showing me some grace and gratitude last weekend, and I will sing your praises till the day I die. Very, very important.
Yes.
To stay humble.
The literal translation of my Haftorah at my bar mitzvah. That was brilliantly done by you. I had to read it in Hebrew, which was not easy.
Yeah.
Len Robbins, a New York Extra with us here. 5-0. Yeah, I mean, that's not salt in the wound. I mean, well, why don't you just castrate me here on the air? Guy's shooting blanks like a cigar. I mean.
Yeah, look, that to me is the worst thing in life, right? To go through life as a gelding.
Yes.
Yes.
Shooting blanks. I mean, that's all we're doing here.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
And a good Thursday morning, everybody. Great to be with you. Jeff Deforrest, Michael Lubie, Lubitz. The Defo Show here on ION Channel. Moving forward once again. And today we will have a version of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Always great to have the Thursday edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurgles Gurgley is going to join us. And I think sometime in the very near future, through the use of modern technology and maybe a very serious instructional manual, we'll be able to have the Polyman as part of the whole thing as well. Polyman busy with a bunch of different appointments and things that he has to do over the last couple of weeks. No grave medical concerns, Mike Lubitz. I wanted to dispel that right away because the Polyman has been literally dying on the show for the last 25 years. And he doesn't necessarily come out publicly and say that, but
No.
You know how it goes. He shows up and a minute before the show, his hands are covering his face and he's going, I think this is it, guys. I think it's over. And then as soon as the lights go on, he's one of these performers. I mean, as soon as they turn on the lights and it's showtime, a whole new Polyman emerges. And then right after the show is over, he goes right back into that shell and retreats into the idea that today might be his last day on the planet. But it isn't, and he's doing well, and should be joining us courtesy of some new modern technology that we're trying to implement into the program, i.e. we're trying to get Polyman to be able to turn on a computer and sit in front of it and go ahead and perform. Much like we are doing right here. I mean, it seems pretty simple. If I can do it, Lubie.
I can say it.
I don't want to say any asshole can do it because I love the Polyman, but, pretty much any jerk could do it, right? You would have to say. That's why, on our list right now is Jersey Kyle. How many weeks have we been telling him, hey, just go out, buy a laptop computer, and then you can be on the show in a visual way, and it won't be so awkward, right? Where it sounds like I'm interviewing a guy as a telephone guest, even though we're trying to integrate each other into the whole degenerate mentality. And what stories we have to tell this week, right? Have we contacted Jersey Kyle about that? I don't know. Tomorrow will be the same old story, right? I don't know how to work this thing.
Yeah, he can come on. He's not going to do the laptop. He's sort of been defiant about the laptop.
I don't know if that's airing our dirty laundry here on the show. I mean, it's just the people have a right to know, much like they have a right to know whether or not Stephen Ross offered a bribe to Brian Flores to go ahead and add incentive to lose games. So, the slightest hint of impropriety in NFL football, now that they're partnering up, and every league is partnering up with some kind of gambling entity on a very heavy basis. And let's face it, whether they're partnering up with FanDuel or DraftKings or the MGM or the Caesars Sportsbook, really doesn't matter because people are using all of these different applications. There are a zillion apps. I couldn't believe how many entities there are that are involved in gambling now. As if you're out in Las Vegas, you're going to have all of this, in front of you. And yet on TV constantly, it's just one app after another. The station casinos have their app. 7-Eleven, like I said, I think has an app where you can send it in all night long on the Knicks. No matter what you want to do, you can find a place to do it. So with all of that going on and very much infiltrated and integrated into professional sports now, something that was so taboo, Lubie, remember?
Yep.
That look that Phyllis George of shock, feigned shock she would give Jimmy the Greek on what was it? CBS. What was the CBS football pregame show? It had a legendary name. I should know. And I'm kind of blanking on it.
Today.
But the CBS, NFL Today, was that the name of the show? NFL Today.
But I think it was.
Yeah, and the Greek would go, well, you know what, and he couldn't even mention like point spreads. He'd say, well, you know what, that there's sort of a generous allotment in this. He would find every which way to get around the idea of just saying straight out, hey, I like the Chiefs minus 3.5. And
NFL Today.
NFL Today, yeah, and Phyllis George, who was a very attractive element on the program, and actually developed into a very useful component from, I guess, storytelling, interviewing, and journalistic standpoint. Is that a fair statement? You weren't really around when Phyllis George was a big deal there on the show, but and at first it was an odd thing, and guys were very reluctant to accept. Much like the NFL seems reluctant to accept the idea that black head coaches can be successful. Imagine that. It hasn't come around in that yet. Them good old boys. I made my money and all. Yeah. Was that guy Adams had the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, Bud Adams.
Oh, my God. You're talking about a right-wing racist pig. Made no, pretensions that he was anything else but that, didn't he? Even when it came time to issue the standard Stephen Ross denial, I don't know nothing about that. Ross went Pentangeli yesterday. Did you notice that? The boys offered me a deal, and I said, yeah, sure. I'll give you money. Now, this is very interesting. I mean, this is one of those old-fashioned Western shootouts, is it not? Where the two guys march down the street there, and everybody's, hiding in the saloons, and they're peering out the window to see who ends up getting shot, and going on and continuing in the movie. Here's Brian Flores, and now you're a huge Flores advocate at this point, Mike Lubitz. You've done a 180 on this guy.
I've done like a 180. I make it clear to tell people I didn't care that he got fired. I was fine with him getting fired because he couldn't figure out the offense, and that is sort of a big part of the game, especially in 2022. But I think with what's come out, it's strange to now focus on Flores. Like, I don't think the focus is him anymore.
No, I mean, all of a sudden the spotlight is squarely in the face. I mean, as if he was being interrogated by the FBI, which may come to pass on Stephen Ross. Now, you're telling me, I didn't see this aspect of the story. I saw the interviews, and Flores made the rounds yesterday, and I thought he held up very well. Certainly didn't look like a guy that was twitching or lying or, I can't imagine that he would bring this lawsuit against the National Football League and make this level of allegation. The racism thing, I just think has been obvious for a long, long time. And I don't know exactly what the solution is because I don't think you can really force these hirings, which the NFL attempted to at least address 20 years ago with the Rooney Rule. But that was interesting yesterday on the show when we had Jason Cole on. And, you don't think of it in this way. I mean, there were 3 black head coaches. 2 of them get fired. And now there's 1 black head coach in the National Football League as we stand today. There were still, 5 job openings? Yes, 5 head coaching positions. I guess 1 was filled. The Vikings are going to hire a guy. It was announced O'Connell.
O'Connell yet, but supposedly they're going to make the Rams offensive coordinator their next head coach. Supposedly.
Okay, that's fine. All right, another white guy? Yes.
Yeah.
All
Kevin O'Connell.
So it's Moses Malone time there. Faux. I mean, faux. As 4 jobs have been filled, 5 now, and 4 are remaining open. And all 5 jobs have been filled by white guys who were either offensive or defensive coordinators.
Yes.
So there are no former black head coaches that have been put into the mix there. Brian Flores was a candidate, and I guess a very significant candidate to get any number of jobs in the league. And most people thought he would get a job right away when he got canned by the Miami Dolphins. Now, as we've been talking about, as the story emerged, and now is ballooned into a real bombshell all around the country and around the world, and people are focusing on what the hell is going on in the National Football League. You're looking at a guy that he could have just kept quiet and probably gotten himself a job.
Yes.
But he decided instead to, people to think that he's trying to get a money grab out of this lawsuit. I don't know. I mean, that's really hard to envision. It would have been a lot easier. Look, when we were working at 940 Wins and iHeartMedia, It would have been easy to just blast everybody for some of the things that went on there, would it not? I mean, you're looking at like people that were wasting two fine outlets, at least in our opinion,
Yeah.
for outlets, media outlets. I mean, they were doing nothing with it. I mean, compromising every chance you had of succeeding. You thought that was what was coming from management, while they were telling you, "Oh yeah, we're solidly behind you." I mean, that goes on in a lot of businesses. It's not unique to the media or to the sports world. But it does seem odd that all this guy had to do was just keep his mouth shut and not say anything about this. And he probably would have landed a job if he didn't get one of these 9 jobs that was available this year. Certainly, he would have been in the mix for any other openings that occurred. This was a guy who won with a bunch of NFL bag ladies. We've been saying this over and over again. It was remarkable. And if anything, you would have thought that Stephen Ross, the owner of the team, would have been beating his chest saying, you know what? We have the best coach in the league. If he could take this bunch of dreck and turn it into a team that wins 5 games down the stretch out of their last 9 in his first year as a head coach, when it was very suspect. Remember the lines for those games? We were talking about this yesterday on the show, Lubie, where the Dolphins, they couldn't allot enough points to get people to bet on the Dolphins in that season, the first season 3 years ago. Yeah.
They were getting rocked in every game. That was our joke. I have rejoins that I don't play that much anymore because they ended up being disproven later that year, but they were losing by, remember they lost by like 70 to like the Ravens, to the Patriots.
First game of the season, it was blowout city. It was just unbelievable, and it got uglier from there. And they were making lines. Dolphins, you open up the first week, the first day of the week, you'd open up the lines, see what was going on that week in the NFL and what matchups were going to be interesting. And the Dolphins would be 21-point underdogs. and then they would fail to cover the spread, which was even more incredible. So that's how bad the roster was. They kept decimating the roster and making it worse during the course of the season, the Dolphins management. And then the guys still won games. Now, you would have thought at the end of the year, Stephen Ross would have said, hey, wait a minute, man. We have a coach here that just won 5 out of the last 9 games, including a season-ending victory over the New England Patriots. And although the Patriots, I think, did their best to sabotage their chances in that game. Wasn't that Steven Jackson game?
Jackson, yep.
Yeah, where they picked up Steven Jackson at a donut shop. I think he was at the drive-thru at Krispy Kreme that morning, and Belichick happened to have, some kind of craving for a donut, sugar rush he needed to be able to get through the ball game. So he said, hey, Steve, how you doing? Hey, can you still run the ball? And, Jackson, did one of those things like you saw in the Blues Brothers movie when, Guitar Murphy decides to just quit and he throws the apron and joins the band. I mean, and that's kind of what happened. Jackson went to the stadium probably with Belichick that day, got 37 carries for, 42 yards. And the Patriots lost that ball game, and it ended up being very costly for them as they had to go on the road and ended up losing right to the Denver Broncos. Was that what happened that year?
They lost to
That
someone.
knocked out of playoffs? Yeah, they lost to somebody. Anyway,
I don't remember.
I'm going back. I'm juxtaposing years in my mind as we speak.
A lot of me.
But anyway, Flores won that game, and the Dolphins closed with 5 wins in 9 games at the end of the season, where it looked like it wasn't even like they were dead in the water. They were dead on arrival at the stadium every game. They got off the bus. They were already tagged with a loss, right? They may as well have come in with an L on their shirt. And Stephen Ross, you would have thought, would have been extolling the virtues of this guy, and they never seemed to really have a very favorable view of Brian Flores. And maybe that's where the alienation process began when he said, listen, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to deliberately lose games. And here's Stephen Ross, supposedly, and you say, Lubie, that there is evidence now.
I emailed you. And I
corroboration of the idea that Ross offered money to lose games. I mean, that would be, I would think, immediate suspension.
Wolf, who was a reporter with the NFL Network, he used to be with ESPN. He covers the Dolphins. All these networks have like the guy that covers.
Yeah.
He's like, he talked about, as I mentioned because he did interviews. I spoke with a witness who said he heard Steve Ross offer Brian Flores $100,000 for every 2019 loss.
See, I mean, that's insane. Even the slightest hint of impropriety at this level, especially internally in the organization, and coming directly from the owner, you would have to think were immediate grounds for permanent suspension from the game of football and from all sports. As a matter of fact.
Goes on to say, Flores' team says they have corroborating evidence, including messages from GM Chris Greer.
Wow, that's really heavy.
my favorite, and I love and I get this opinion because we know tanking's happening. Like, I'm not shocked tanking's happening. You've debated it should never happen. I got on board.
Should never happen. There's an easy fix there. Easy fix.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, it happens. We know it happens. You are probably right because Dave Hyde said this too. If a team is tanking, why are you trusting them to fix it? Like, if they have to tank and they're stupid enough to tank, why are they magically going to figure it out once they've tanked? Like, which we've seen, they won't.
Well, when you're down to like last resort type of approach, in anything for that matter, I mean, it seldom works well. Now, the theory is obviously you're going to get the best players. You're drafting at the top of every round in the year that you had the worst record in the league. But, and we've said this for years. And our good friend Andy, who's on the chat line right now, has recognized that way ahead of our time in this thought. But, why wouldn't it occur to executives that are making millions of dollars? Never mind Raj and the 63. I mean, they have a zillion guys there in the NFL offices that serve in executive capacities. Why wouldn't it occur to them that the way to fix this is very simple? You take the 18 teams that don't make the postseason, and you give a weighted lottery system, and with the team that had the best record getting the best chance of getting the number one pick. Now, no matter how bad your team is, no matter how poor your roster is, you have every incentive to want to improve it because if you want that number one pick, the one flaw that I can see as I'm saying this is that you might have a situation where it became advantageous not to make the postseason in the final week of the regular season. But it seems to me that there are always enough teams in contention in that spot that you would be better off going ahead and trying to assure yourself, of going out and winning, either making the postseason as a result, or if you do just miss because you won that game, you have the best chance of getting the number one overall pick. And that way the team with the worst record has the least chance of getting that pick, and that eliminates the possibility that you want to lose every game. And it makes it very important probably to win that last game of the regular season, as opposed to just automatically going out there playing, a bunch of, people that don't even belong on an NFL roster. You're grabbing guys off your practice squad, grabbing guys off the street like the Dolphins did that year, and deliberately trying to lose. You would have incentive to win every game, with the possible exception, and that would be the one flaw. I'm not sure, how to address that, just, rambling off the top of my head here, but you wouldn't want to give a team incentive not to make the postseason because they were in that position, but they aren't guaranteed the number one pick anyway. So I don't know. There is probably going to be a fly in the ointment and some kind of flaw, the so-called, can I even say this, chink in the armor? Where, you're trying to find new theories to fix this, but the reality is the worst way to do it is to automatically give the number one pick to the worst team in the league.
I mean, this system doesn't work. Way. Yeah. The NBA did the lottery, and there was a few years where tanking happened. If you notice, that's sort of gone away because it wasn't working. The teams tanking were not winning, so they've sort of realized. Well,
because usually the teams that are in that position are bad organizations to begin with, and they haven't figured out a way to win. I mean, that's why. As much as people like to diss Belichick, and the Patriots, get slammed in, their game against Buffalo. I mean, they just get blown out there in the first round of the playoffs. But you know what? They made the playoffs, and they were only down for like a year. And even in that year, they at least were contentious. And, they had Cam Newton with a shot right arm trying to throw the football for him. They tried. They made some moves to at least put themselves in the mix. And then the next year they made the postseason with a rookie quarterback. So, the good organizations figure out ways to do it and, at least accomplish something. Whereas how easy is it to just throw in a towel, Lubie? Like the Dolphins were doing that year or, other teams have done in the past. I mean, you could point to the Indianapolis Colts and the Suck for Luck campaign. Yep. Did it appear that the organization was trying? No.
No.
They did everything in their power to lose games. It's just a horrible incentive for teams to, have an advantage by being really, really bad. And those organizations seldom figure out a way to get good.
Yes.
They just stay there, right? I mean, basketball is a classic example because, look, 76ers, for all of their number one picks and the process and all of this, they're sitting there with a stiff and Ben Simmons, and they haven't won any championships.
No,
they haven't even been to the finals, right? I mean, not even close.
Finals. Well, and that's the thing. And look, I get it. Tanking's not new. We know it exists. But come on, like even by tanking standards, there's gotta you can't have an owner paying the coach to directly. The GM can mess with the roster if you're gonna do the tanking, which again is stupid because it doesn't work. or it doesn't definitively work, especially with the guys in power at the time. You'd have to change the office to get someone who can do what they're doing after the tank. But like the GM can bring it to bare bones, but you can't have an owner paying. Like the coach and the players have to try. Someone's got to try. Like, then what the hell do we have? If teams are openly losing on purpose, then it's not sports, it's wrestling, like 100%. And then the gambling aspect, it's just a disaster. Like, there's no defense of it. Like, you can.
It's a conundrum, a perfect storm of negativity. It really is. All right, we're going to do a little Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurgles Gurgling going to join us, and there'll be a visual of Gurgles, and we fixed whatever technical there were last week, or at least so we hope. Gurgles looks great. Looks like he's trimming down there. He's working a lot of hours, not eating as much, and getting out there doing a little exercise. It's fantastic. Has the good hair, taking over for the poly man with the television hair. So we'll get into a Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge now. Can you pop the phone number up? Or is it already on the screen there, Real Lubie? It's 954-417. Is it 0700?
0070. Yeah, 0070.
Okay, 954-417-0070. Lenny the Chronic and all of his people, I think, are lined up ready to play the game. So you can get in. And if you get a busy signal, just keep trying. Actually, if you hear a player on there, you're going to get a busy signal because we have still the limitation of the one phone line under the current Stableford modified scoring system that we're using. And we'll use that in the game as well, right? I always wanted to go with something like that. Dave's going to be with us here in just a few minutes on the program. It is the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hialeah Park doing great things. And, wow, jackpots galore being won. I guess that's the big news coming out of Hialeah after the giant success they had with the boxing match last Friday night. More big events on tap. And I can assure you they're doing everything to provide the ultimate entertainment package at Hialeah Park. It's just a great, great place. The casino is always hopping. I finally found some machines out in Las Vegas that were kind of paying like the Hialeah Park machines do.
Nice.
And it was great. And that's why there's such a festive atmosphere in there. I mean, the people walking around the casino so downtrodden, right? You rarely see anybody celebrating. Yeah, I'm a winner. But at Hialeah Park, that's going on all the time. So the casino is just a dynamite place to be. It's open till 3 a.m. on the weekdays. Tomorrow they're open up until 5 a.m. and Saturday night as well. They have the poker room there. That's always going strong. And my son, he wants to get down there and play some poker there. He likes the idea that it's a first-class environment. And we love punching away at the Champions simulcasting room. You have the Holy Bull coming from Gulfstream Park. You can, battle the crowd there, or you can go to, if you're on the west side of town there, Hialeah, just a great, great setup in the Champion simulcasting room. Great food and drink all over the place. And as we said, always a festive atmosphere. Get a player's card when you come through the door. All kinds of freebies and amenities, including our favorite two-word grouping when it comes to casino play, and that is free play. And that's all available to you at beautiful Hialeah Park. The Trivia Challenge, we'll have our colossal game here coming up with Dave Gurgles Gurgley. Always great having Gurgs on the show. I'm Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz. It's the Defo Show here on Jack Namer's fine organization. Did you see the work Amy did? I know a lot of people have been talking about this, that we should be running like video commercials during the breaks, Lubie, instead of having, us staring in the camera, you picking your nose, me doing all kinds of crazy things. And so that's going to be another advancement. I don't know when we're going to be able to implement that. Maybe tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow. But beautiful job by Amy putting these video commercials together for our various sponsors. So very proud of that. And Brad Schiller always doing a fine job on the technical aspects of the show, including, it's interesting because we had that video glitch a couple of days ago when I came back.
Yeah.
And simple thing. I'm blaming the cleaning lady.
Yeah, probably.
I think she must have, juggled a card there, with the explicit instructions. Don't touch a thing. Nothing. Don't even go in that room. The Mustang can't resist, though. No, I just want them to mop the floor there. The next thing you know, they mopped us right off the air. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Dave Gurgles Gurgley going to join us next. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday edition of the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz returning with more on Ion Channel in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:24.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreller here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School.
Can you hear me, guys?
Letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Of course, I got in about 2 a.m. last night. Do I look like Lubie? Good morning, by the way.
You look
do I
good.
look like I need a cut, man?
You look good. I'm proud of you. You're like ready. You're on time. All the guys there didn't have to stress out waiting for you. Look at you. A new day.
I'm a professional. There's no question about it. And I don't like to lose a job on the first day of the job.
That'd be good.
Which is ugly. Because we already lost one job, and we got fired by Fox. And in fact, you and I, Lubie, are the only starters that were ever put out of the job by Brady Quinn. If you can kind of wrap your arms around that concept.
Grab a bagel and a schmear, plus some Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
Always happy to get started with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge here on the Defo Show, Thursday edition of the program, and we always feature the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We are Paulie Menless for another week here, but he has vowed to return, and he always comes back strongly. Unbelievable, this guy. He can come back off a 2-year layoff, and like he was being trained by Todd Pletcher, just boogaloo city right to the wire. We welcome to the program. Great American, Dave Gurgly, coming to you from the new Miami Lakes Country Club, and used to be Shula's, and Gergs has been there for, how many years now? Dave, how are you, my friend?
Doing fine, guys. This is starting my 40th year with the Graham family.
Wow. That's
82, 82, I opened the athletic club where I used to come and play tennis with Ed Kaplan. Yeah,
yes.
I remember those days.
What happened to that guy, Dwight? Is he still around, the guy that was ambidextrous?
He is, plays a little bit. I think he's got a little bit, looks like early signs of Parkinson's, unfortunately.
Oh, geez.
But super nice guy. Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy, right? You're playing a guy tennis, and you hit your best shot. You stripe one, to his forehand. He just pastes one right back into the corner. You happen to get a solid shot off, down the other side, and then he switches hands and hits the ball lefty. Another forehand for a winner. He was great.
And you were talking about Hialeah Park while you were in Vegas. I took 4 guys and we went for the Pegasus to Hialeah Park.
Nice.
Set us up, $10, your own little table. The food was terrific. A great atmosphere out there, yelling, screaming, and we had a terrific time. And I did hear your soliloquy, if you will, about the changing the lottery system for to stop teams from tanking. And I went back in a time machine. I felt like I was listening to Casey Stengel address Congress about baseball.
Well, you mentioned Eddie Kaplan, and he had a lot of contrarian theories that people thought were ridiculous because they went completely 180 degrees opposed to conventional wisdom. But I agree with him 1,000%. And at first, the theory seemed absurd to me. But why reward futility? why should you give the best, possible chance of having success in the future to the teams that do the least to deserve them? And, I understand the whole idea about competitive balance, but those teams perennially and usually perpetually end up being bad because they're bad organizations. And even if you give them the top guy, that guy normally gets ruined and doesn't blossom until he goes somewhere else. I mean, witness the Detroit Lions, who had some good years and had some real talent while Matthew Stafford was there, a former number 1 overall pick, which they acquired because they were the worst team in the league for several years. And they happen to luck out at a time where there's a top flight quarterback available, but they never won anything of significance with Matthew Stafford. And the minute he gets on another team, like 20 years into his career, here he is as a favorite in the Super Bowl. So those bad organizations just stay perpetually bad, is what I've found. So why not do that? Or why not reward the team that's knocking on the door with the best chance of getting it? Doesn't mean that the worst team in the league, I mean, they'll have a faint chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. But, the best chance would go to the teams that were doing the best and were knocking on the door of possibly being among the league's elite, the postseason contingent.
It's beyond my pay grade, and I'll just watch and enjoy the games. But kudos to Lubie for exposing that the facts about Steve Ross. But you didn't mention the place that's near and dear to your heart, Landlubbers. Landlubbers has been offering Lenny $5 each week to tank.
Well, just to go back on that diet where he was eating rabbit food there for a while, and he was dropping like 20 pounds a day. And, unfortunately, it's very hard to sustain that level of discipline if you're fond of a certain thing. I mean, I'm sure you've sworn off the track from time to time, Dave Gurgly, after a series of negative experiences in terms of cash flow. And yet, what do? You go back there with that same level of optimism the next time and saying, you know what, today is going to be my day. And, I thought of you a few times because I don't know that anybody had a better time in Vegas. What was that, your first Vegas trip? No, it wasn't, because you went out there with the ill-fated romance.
No, it was the first time in 15 years, though.
Yeah. When you went out for the 70th birthday celebration. And
wonderful
Lubie,
time.
You know how Gurgles is. Nobody had a better time there than Dave Gurgles Gurgling. I was thinking, I want to have as much fun. I was out there with Jersey Kyle and Evan, don't mention my name, but he was busy. All of his time was being taken up by playing in the handicapping tournament, National Handicapping Championship, which was won by a very, one of those just everyman guys that likes to go to the track. This was great. Some guy, he was a real estate appraiser from Western New York, they said, like 62 years old, liked going to the track his whole life, probably was punching away while Ross Martin was calling the races at Finger Lakes. Whoa! Was that a flaw in the sound system at Gulfstream at the time? Because it seems like Pete Aiello is very clear. Of course, they've had Larry Colemas there before Pete had the job as the track announcer at Gulfstream Park. It seems to me the sound system there is fine. I mean, works about as well as the one does for music at the Funky Biscuit. So what was it? What was Ross Martin calling those races from underwater? Because that was our nickname for him, was Aqualung, yeah.
I think the reason being is, unlike me, he failed to clear his throat in the mornings. And that might have just been buildup.
I noticed something, though, Gergs. Did you figure out how to shut the mic off during the throat clearing session, or did you not have that today?
No. What I did, Mike and I had a conversation yesterday. We figured out how to alleviate all the background noise. And he said, I'll see you at 7:15. I said, Mike, I'm coming in at 6:15. And for the first hour, I'll just clear my throat. So when I come on, it shouldn't be too bad.
It actually works. You may have to do this every week now.
Well, what was your favorite aspect of being in Vegas? I mean, outside of winning, and I had an experience very much like you did, although not quite as spectacular, with the game of Let It Ride, but I blew it because I was too cheap. I did the math. I was talking with my son about this. He's a degenerate gambler as well and a CPA, so he's good with numbers. And, I'm figuring if you play that $5 bonus, where you put, you're trying to hit the jackpot for the $250,000 or whatever is available there, this rolling over jackpot for getting a royal flush. Mm-hmm. The progressive, yeah. And you get, I didn't realize that you got a reasonable piece of that if you made like a smaller hand. Like if you got a full house, you didn't necessarily have to have the royal flush to cash on that bet. But I'm doing the math, figuring if you put up an extra $5 a game, and you play 20 games, in all likelihood, you're not getting any piece of that, and you're out 100. Now you're going to make up another 100 in odds that are already prohibitive and favorable to the house to begin with. So I wasn't in on that. And of course, out of the first 5 hands, 2 of them would have cashed on the progressive bonus table to the tune of about 450 combined. And then I started playing and, of course, lost every hand.
Of course, yeah.
But you hit right
It's
away. What was
different,
that? A full house you got?
No, it was it was
Or 4 of a
15,
kind?
15, 15 in
Yeah.
the back row, and then 15 on the pairs. And you got 10s or better for our audience. And I had a pair of 6s, and I'm a little bit of a gambler, but still, I took the first 15 back
Yeah.
and said to the dealer, "How about another 6? Here comes the third 6,
Nice.
and now I've got it."
Yeah.
All right. And then I said, "You got another 6 there?" 4-6.
Boom.
And the 4-6 paid me
That's 50 to 1.
1,500 down into below, and the progressive was up to 2,400. So it was about $3,900 right then.
How great is that, man? You walk in and make a hit like that. That was fantastic.
the
Now,
week.
did you piss much of that back the rest of the time, or were you okay when you
The
left?
4th of July, I should have stayed in the room and watched fireworks. I did that the 3rd. And the 4th, I started having a few cocktails and gave back maybe 500 or 600 that night. But didn't matter to me. I went with a certain amount of money, came home with more than that. Had a young lady with me who paid for both the rooms. We had dinner. We went out and did some stuff. It was just a terrific time, and all because of your birthday.
Yeah, and you went to Rayo's, which was right there in the
Yeah.
hotel at Caesar's Palace, which
Great
is a place
Italian
that
food. Yeah.
you can't get a table in New York. I mean, you have to make a reservation like 3 years in advance, and even then, they may not honor it once you show up. No matter what level of celebrity stature you enjoy, because they only have a few tables there. But you said the one in Vegas was great.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that their lease expired, and they might be putting something else in that spot.
Oh yeah, it's
I
gone.
don't know if you
Wow.
passed by that. Yeah.
No, I
But
wasn't
one of
in
the other
Caesars.
highlights was the secret you guys found in the afternoon. I only went out there once, and that's that pool with the floating blackjack game.
Oh,
that
is
was
that great?
terrific out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Caesar's Palace, yeah, no, fantastic. I mean, and it was blaring, blasting heat, and it was a perfect place to just sit and relax at that time. It was a lot of fun. No, I really enjoyed it. Now, are you the type of gambler that always is conscious of what your bankroll is, where you're
No.
constantly thinking, okay, I'm on the walk of life, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm up 600. What do I do today? And I also
No.
go by the philosophy that every day is a new day in gambling. That no matter how well or poorly you
Yes.
did the day before, start from scratch with your normal limits. I'm sounding like Mariucci on that commercial that they have, discouraging you from betting irresponsibly while they're advertising the fact that the NFL is in total cahoots with FanDuel and DraftKings.
Pretty much.
No, I take the money I plan to lose, and a lot of times I lose, especially at the track. And you brought up a great point about that optimism. When you lose at the track on a Saturday or Sunday and you go home and you're saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got to go to the ATM to get breakfast money tomorrow," and then as the week goes on, you go, "Wait a minute. Thursday, the entries come out for Saturday. Let's see what's running. Friday, let me get the one for Saturday. Saturday, let's get there early." Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's that sense of optimism like you never saw.
I had my strongest hit ever at the track, which amounted to about 11 dimes, and that came moments after I said to myself, if I lose this last 100 that I just gotten from the ATM machine, I am never gambling again.
So it might have been good to lose that 100.
But I may as well
Was that
give it
the
one more
Eva-
shot. It's like
Probably
the guy that
win.
tries
Was
to
that
quit drinking. I'll
buying-
give it one more shot,
The eve of buying the Wave Runners, was that the time?
That triggered the purchase of the
Yeah.
Yamaha XL 100 or whatever that is, 1000, which was a beautiful piece of machinery until the
Yeah, you
salt
gotta
water
like
finally ate the engine all apart, which was ugly. And that came all of a sudden, right? Where one day it's working fine, and the next day water was shooting up like a geyser through the engine block. All right, we're going to get into the game now, and we'll line up some players. We have some people. Well, actually, we only can do one at a time, so we have somebody on the line ready to play the game, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. How are you feeling about today's questions, Dave Kirkles-Gurley? They're usually excellent.
I got some good ones. I got some ABA, some Pro Bowl questions, some rather different ones, I think.
All right. And when there is an open line, when you hear the player hang up, you can call us at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Lubie's going to take the telephone calls, and we'll orchestrate the game. It seems like it's going, much better from a technical standpoint than it has the last couple of weeks, which is fantastic. And how'd it go with you and Lubie? I heard Star was born last week on the Trivia Challenge.
Lubie did a great job. Yeah, he is the ultimate what was the first baseman that came in for
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig? Babe,
Wally
the,
Pipp.
yeah, the guy after him.
Gehrig came in.
No,
yeah,
no, he
Wally Pipp.
replaced Wally Pipp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Garrett came in for
Might have
Pitt.
been might have been Babe Dahlgren or something like that.
Oh,
Well, it doesn't matter. He did a good job.
I think I after
Very
Garrett.
nice. Very nice. All right, we'll get it going. We'll play one game with Dave Gurgles Gurgley, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, 954-417-0070. If you'd like to join the game, we have the Landlubbers gift certificate to give away. So if you're calling, say, from some Asian outpost that happens to be viewing the show, there's a pretty good chance you won't be able to redeem this thing. But nonetheless, it'll go to a good cause. The Feed Lenny
If you happen
leader.
to be a blackjack dealer, hang up right now.
Yes, and we don't want any black players, right? I mean, that would be the NFL
No,
stance. of this
blackjack
thing.
dealer. Blackjack dealer, I said.
All
I meant the
players.
Asian blackjack dealer.
Please.
I don't want
I
to get
played
any
no
jackpots.
blackjack while I was there. I mean, why doesn't Roger Goodell just come out and say that? We don't want any black coaches. These stuffy old white guys don't believe in it. I mean, that would be a more appropriate statement, I think, by the NFL than this. Literal Sarah Huckabee Sanders, right? Insurrection? What insurrection? I didn't see nothing going on at the Capitol that day. What are you talking about? January 6th? Let me check my calendar, see what was happening there. There was a little elementary school tour. They went to see Nancy Pelosi. All right, coming back with more with Dave Gurgles Gurgley, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We told you about Hialeah Park, all the great things going on there. Same thing happened in Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill down in Key Largo. Wow. I mean, I don't know what kind of pull you would have to have. Do we have to mention John or Dominic Congemi to get into the sports bar for the big game, as they say? Because they remodeled that sports bar. What a place to watch it. That would be fantastic. Now, it's always great to get down there, unwind. I mean, one of the great things about Las Vegas is you completely detach from most of the things that you would normally have to be responsible for and just wander around in a degenerate daze. It's absolutely fantastic. You can put yourself into some kind of diabetic coma with all the great food that's available there. And you go Nick Cage and pretty much come close to drinking yourself to death. And we call that a good time.
No,
That's what it's all about. Now, at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, it's a little bit different, although you can drink a lot, that's for sure. And they have the beautiful views there. In fact, I can't wait till you guys see the visual that Amy put together of Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. What did they do? Did they fly a chopper down there or something? Jack Namer? I mean, he spares no expense with the show. It's fantastic. You'll see the views of Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, and it's just great. I can't wait for you guys to come across that element here on the program, because it's hard to describe how beautiful it is just verbally, although we make every attempt. I love the food down there. That Italian Fisherman Pizza is very unique, and you're looking at that saying, what are they talking about here? I mean, they're going to put a couple of scallops on it, say, piled to the ceiling with the freshest seafood, and then, of course, the great pizza that Dominic and Jimmy makes. Very creative with all of that. They have all kinds of things from fine dining to ribs and nachos, and you can sit by the pool, get service there, and go ahead and eat and drink to your heart's content. It's just a great place to hang out. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104. They have excellent accommodations, very exquisite. You can look into those at jimmyjohnsonsbigchill.com. And, of course, the best thing to do is just stop in there at mile marker 104 on the Overseas Highway next time you're planning a trip to the Keys, and or if you just want to plan a special visit to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. All right, game number one, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge coming up. We'll take that into the 8 o'clock hour, and then later on, O.J. McDuffie is going to join us on all of this Dolphins flap. No bigger fan of the Miami Dolphins. I mean, this guy has aqua and orange on his heart, and I think he's very disheartened by what's gone on in the developments here. Obviously, mired in mediocrity forever, and now this, right? Now this is happening. So OJ is going to join us later on. Always great having him on the show. We looking forward to that. All right, coming back with our game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment. Now that
The time.
it's 7:45.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half, Sally. They are given the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours change a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
That was a clip from Stephen Ross's press conference yesterday. Good to be back with you here on the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Michael Lubitz, and we have Dave Gurgly set to go with our first set of questions of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. The Landlubbers gift certificate is at stake. When the player is off the line, you can dial us up at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070, and play for the Landlubbers gift certificate. All right, Gurgs, you look great. Sounds like you're feeling great. Are you ready to go here and roll out the first set of questions? All right, very good. We're going to do that. You guys have the telephone number. So here we go, beginning in somewhat traditional fashion, not with the Polyman, but with Dave Gurgly. Game one of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. This will be our only game, a colossal game one of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Begins with some
easy baseball. This pitcher, when asked if he was a good hitter, replied, "I was actually the worst hitter ever. As a matter of fact, I never even broke a bat until last year when I was backing out of my garage." What's that? Lefty Gomez, Garrett Gomez, Gomez Adams, or Edie Adams?
Josie Gomez. I thought you were going to throw in there, too. All right. Libby's going to roll the random phone scrambler. See what we have. Oh, very appropriate. Great guy and big fan of the show and always on our chat line. Very busy. The great Andy. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello, Andy.
Hey, and I promise I'm going to give maximum effort. I'm not going to dump anymore.
Yeah, I heard you were tanking, so Lenny could eat more, which is great. Very nice of you. All right, you have 1 point. You're in.
I'm known as Edie Gourmet.
Yes,
There you go.
You're in the competition here.
All right, baseball, true or false? Believe it or not, known as a real baseball fanatic and a huge Yankee fan, Billy Crystal actually attended Marshall University on a scholarship for baseball. True or false?
Nah, I know it. No.
No.
Well,
no,
true.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. He played 1 year, dropped out of his freshman year. Hard to believe, but it's true.
What a great job he did on 61, that thing about Roger Maris and the home run quest. Tremendous. That's a great piece of video with tremendous acting. And Barry Pepper looks like everybody, which is great. Like one day he looks exactly like a dead ringer for Roger Maris, and the next day he's like Dale Earnhardt. And he looks just like him. It was pretty incredible. Sammy Davis Jr. I don't want to get into too much of a white-black theme with the Flores stuff.
Good idea.
All right, one going for 4 here, Andy.
All right, Andy, football. Which of the following NFL players did
not
return 6 kickoffs for touchdowns? Did not return 6 kickoffs for touchdowns in his career? Deion Sanders, Gale Sayers, Ollie Matson, or Travis Williams?
Wow.
Did not.
Well, you got to go with the most unobvious answer, which would be Gale Sayers.
I want to say Deion.
No, is the other unobvious answer. Deion Sanders.
Really?
Yeah, well, he had a lot of punt returns also for touchdowns.
That's right.
So you're always picturing him scoring and going into that little foxtrot that he did before he went into the end zone. And yet he might not have returned 6. And we know Travis Williams, wow, I mean, not mentioned often enough, had a very tragic story where I believe he ended up homeless after having, electrified the National Football League with the Green Bay Packers with those kickoff returns where he was just pure dynamite and had what? He might have had the most. All right, going for 6 points here, Andy. This would establish the pace in our one game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
All right, everyone complains that I do real old questions. Here's a rather current one. This past week in hockey, when the Panthers' Mason Marchand had 6 points in one game versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, it tied the franchise record for most points in a single game set by
Ooh.
What's that? Pavel Bure, Scott Mellenby, Ole Yokerman, or Stefan Weiss?
I've been better off if you went back 40 years when it goes back. Stephen Ross just called me up. He'll give me $50 if I get this wrong.
You have a 3 out of 4 chance of being wrong.
I'll go with A.
I'm going to go Ole Yokerman.
Pavel Bure, no? I would invoice him for $50. Yeah, it was Ole Yokerman. Very good.
Ole Yokerman. Wow. I got 2 very difficult Gurgles questions there. That's fantastic. All right, so Andy ends up with a total not worthy of being in the finals. That doesn't mean that he won't get there. That's the beauty of tanking in this game. You're alive for the playoffs. You don't have to worry about getting a number 1 draft pick. You may end up being the champion and crowned with the Super Bowl trophy. Walk away with the Lombardi. You can dial us up if you'd like at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Gurgles, I mean, one thing that's great about you, you're very consistent and persistent about the idea that if you want to smoke a fine cigar, and there was a lot of cigar smoke wafting in the air there in Las Vegas, both inside and outside. I kind of like sometimes being hit with the aroma of a freshly lit cigar, especially outside. Inside, maybe not as much, but wherever you're smoking Perdomo cigars, you're going to feel like you lit up just an absolute thing of beauty.
And I went to see Nick yesterday, newly remodeled at 5150 Northwest 167th Street. Nice new tile in there, big screen TV, couch. You can smoke and enjoy it there. And I told Nick, hey, Nick, the show's going great now. We're on YouTube. He goes, really? He says, guess what? Go on Perdomo Cigars YouTube, and you'll see Nick tell the whole story of how he got into the cigar business and how his grandfather started it back in Cuba. Fascinating little blurb from him and his family. So Perdomo Cigars YouTube, see Nick Perdomo himself and hear that story. But better yet, go in person and see him. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto on the east side, just a little bit south of the Home Depot on that access road. You'll see the big Perdomo Cigars sign. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. His daughter-in-law, Lauren, is there working as the hostess. Nick Jr., that's his wife, is working as a VP. I met his other daughter, Natalie, and Nick now is a grandfather. Natalie had a little baby girl. And guess what he gave everybody after he had a baby girl? That's right,
passed out cigars,
Perdomo
yeah.
cigar.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing for you to do, whether you have a new addition to the family or whether you just want one for yourself. Put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Well said. Dave Gurgles Gurgly. More questions coming up here from Dave. We'll play as many as we can, and we'll have the one colossal game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Here on the Defo Show on Ion Channel, you can just Google the Defo Show. That's DEFO. And you can find us, and they've archived all of the shows. You can see some of the progress, I guess, that we've made also here with all of the new innovations. And once again, I can't wait to see the and people have been saying this since we started about 3 months ago. Hey, you got to do something during those breaks. So the lovely Amy has come up with a brilliant solution here, and I think you guys are even going to enjoy that because we talk about a lot of great things here on the show in terms of our sponsors, which we greatly appreciate. I mean, it came over from what we were doing in radio. All of a sudden, you've got a whole new system. It may sound cockamamie to a lot of people, but as Gurgle said, working out and progressing well because, horse players, everybody, we're creatures of habit. Gurgles, would you agree? Whatever it is, like it was always tough when you went to a new radio station, because people are just creatures of habit. Even if they hate the guy that's on the station that they're punched up on their car radio, they keep listening to it for some reason. Horse players, I mean, how many times have you said to yourself, you know what, I'm losing my ass every year. Why don't I develop a new approach or a new system? And then you go right back to the old system the minute you walk into a track, right? I always say, you know what, I'm going to play pick fours and pick fives. That's where the money is. Bet a little to win a lot. That's a Mike Mayo gambling gourmet theory, which he also, used an extrapolation there of an old Eddie Kaplan theory. And that was also very simple. If you can bet a small amount of money with the chance to win a lot, you're far better off. It's like shooting a three in basketball. You don't have to do as well as frequently. But what do? I start backwheeling the favorite in exactas. The minute I walk into the track, doesn't even matter. I mean, in the screen-to-screen syndrome, as soon as 1 minute to post where? Laurel, I've never cashed a ticket there in my life. Okay. Let me go ahead and, give me $40, on a, exacta with the favorite in second. And you never change your habit. So, a very, very good job by you with the Perdomo cigars. And we appreciate all the people. And now coming on board with the video visuals. That'll be just fantastic here. A serious upgrade. Look at you. You're smiling too, Lubie, which is rare for you in the morning. That's great. All right. 954-417-0070. Well, we'll come back and pick up the game here, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Andy bombed out, but still may be eligible for the postseason. And we'll come back with more on the Defo Show here on Ion Channel in a moment. Now that. The time. It's 7:58. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Sack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone? You can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Don't gamble in anger.
She hit the daily.
Very calm. Think it through. If you need a little help, don't gamble in anger.
I get a panicked phone call, and he says, "Do you have any extra cash?" I go, "Yeah, I brought money with me to Atlantic City." He goes, "Well, I can't get any more out of the card because the Mustang went wild and emptied the daily allotment of cash."
Double nickels, man. You want a nickel on her card and a nickel on mine.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
It's like we say, certain things are good when they come in twos. You have Chateaubriand, that's good. Dinner for two people. Many other things of that variety. But gambling for two doesn't work. So, and that contributed, I think, to my winning success in Las Vegas. I hate to say it, although the Mustang kind of supported that trip with some wild scores on some slot machines at a local casino the week before. But nonetheless, I mean, if you're gambling for two, it's very prohibitive. It's tough enough to maintain your bankroll before it becomes a quick shambles when you're playing by yourself. All right, welcome back to the show, the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz, Dave Gurgles Gurgley with us as we conduct the colossal game here, the championship game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And we're going to play as many as we can before we hit the wire on this one. You can dial us up when the line is open at 954-417-0070. You're playing for the Landlubbers gift certificate. Andy has already weighed in. He bombed out. He laid an egg. But nonetheless, in this game, part of the beauty of it is you're still alive. You're alive to the bitter end in this competition, which is the way that game should be structured. You don't want to figure that, one team, they're already out of it, so, what the hell? They may as well just go ahead and deliberately lose. Despicable on the part of, if true, Lubie, right? You're saying it's true. He's a big believer now. What do you think about this whole thing, Dave Gurgles Gurgley, the Stephen Ross Flap, and Brian Flores?
I'm a big Flores fan. I'm in his corner. I see no reason why he would make this stuff up. There's no advantage for him doing that. He was on all the shows yesterday morning, as I'm sure you guys saw, and he pretty much said this may have ended my career as an NFL coach, but I needed to go forward with it. And I think based on a class action suit, he's looking for other people to join in. Obviously,
yes.
Polyman, as a matter of fact, started to change his name and thinks he might be. He's saying he was a former black coach of the Auto Softball League, but he may join in too. Who knows?
Polyman feels there's been discrimination. I think he was alleging that Italians were being discriminated against here in South Florida, and I don't know that he's gone the route. He's not the type, to do anything except just shrug his shoulders and say, "So how much is the juice going to be?" But he just kind of plods right through whatever negativity is in his life, more so than revolting against it. Even though it may be very revolting what it does to the man. Overall,
no doubt about it.
I'm looking at some clips on TV here. I have a monitor in front of me, and the rest of the country is just getting annihilated with bad weather. So we feel for you because we're here in South Florida where, the big concern is, oh, my God, it's going to be 80 degrees today. That's a little hot for this time of the year. Sure, that would be preferable to what's going on everywhere else where, if it was happening here, iguanas would be falling out of trees and landing on your head there, which a dead iguana on the head is not really particularly anything that...
Not a good look.
Yeah, you should want to gravitate towards having occur in your life. All right, here we go. Our next set of questions. We're ready to go. And the line is full, as they say, even though we will still defer to the random phone scrambler. So, we're all set. And when there is a free line, it's 954-417-0070. Our next set of questions, the great Dave Gargles Gergely on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
NFL football. This coach on an overweight lineman, Lincoln Kennedy, said, boy, Lincoln Kennedy could be a great player in this league for a long time if he learns to say 2 words. I'm full. Was that Jerry Glanville, Jerry Lewis, Lewis and Clark, or Archie Clark?
Glanville comes up a lot when it comes to the spectacular quotes. Here's the scrambler. Lubie's already got it in motion. And it lands on Ron. How about that? Ron, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
A is correct, Ron.
I think it'll be a Hall of Famer. I don't know who that. So that coach was a little wrong.
Well, maybe he learned to say that.
He said that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he kept his weight at a very svelte 400 pounds, I think, throughout his career. You have one going for 2.
All right, hoops, Ron. True or false? Believe it or not, one of my favorite all-time TV personalities, Bob Barker, the Price is Right host, earned an athletic scholarship and played basketball for 2 years at Drury University before leaving school to join the Navy in World War II. True or false?
Let's go true.
It is true.
Nice.
All right, Ron,
It
very
is true,
sharp
yep.
today on his game. Is it true or false, David Gargles Gergely, that for several years you had a voodoo doll of Drew Carey that you used to pummel regularly with all kinds of needles and pins because that job should have been yours.
That was my job.
Yeah.
That should have been my job. I should
There would be nobody better
I
at
made the
hosting.
mistake of... Yep. If I had gone to Syracuse instead of Ryder, I could have had that job. That was my mistake.
Maybe so. Yeah, the ghost of Rod Serling probably would have willed you into the position there. All right, 2 for 2, Ron, going for 5. Here's your 3-point question.
All right, hoops, NBA and ABA combo question. Which of these players was on a playoff team in each of his 15 combined seasons with the ABA and NBA?
Wow,
Made the
good
playoffs
question.
every year. Was that George Gervin, Billy Paltz, Connie Hawkins, or Artis Gilmore?
Wow.
Let's go Connie Hawkins.
The great Connie
No, but
Hawkins?
Jeff knows it. Who is
I'm
it,
thinking-
Jeff? You know it.
I'm thinking it's Billy Pauls.
Yeah.
That's right? Oh, my
Yep.
God.
Yeah.
The least likely choice. I mean, sometimes you have to go with that angle.
15 years between the Nets and the Spurs and made the playoff every year.
Golly, good for him.
The Flounder. That was a great nickname.
That's
He
right.
was the original Flounder before Animal House even was conceived by its writers and directors.
What does that even mean?
The Flounder, Billy Pauls, man. What, St. John's, right? Played for Lou Carnesecca?
Yep.
Very
That's
good.
right.
All right, 2 going for
5-point
7 here,
question.
Ron. This puts you right on top.
All right.
He's already on top.
Pro Bowl coming up this weekend, Ron. I know we'll all be glued to that TV set. Anyway, this player was the first player to win back-to-back MVPs in the Pro Bowl.
Quite a distinction.
Was that Jim Brown, Frank Gifford, Johnny Unitas, or Otto Graham?
Wow.
How about Frank Gifford?
Gifford.
No, Johnny U, 59
I was going to go
and
Johnny
60.
U.
Johnny Unitas.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and I are on the same page today, Gergs. Fantastic.
Ron. You may be
All
in
right,
the
Ron kind of bombs out also. Doesn't get a qualifying total for the finals. That doesn't mean he won't make it there. In fact, there's a good shot by draft lottery that one of these guys, Andy or Ron, will be playing. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. We continue to have the calls pouring in, which is nice, especially on the one-line system here And so we're going to go to our next set of questions right away with the great Dave Gurgles Gurgley.
All right, golf. This professional golfer describing the sport said it this way.
I misread that message there for a second, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Toss it out there.
All right. This professional golfer describing his sport described it this way. A golf ball is like a clock. Always hit it at 6 o'clock, make it go forward to 12 o'clock. But the problem with most golfers is they're not in the same time zone.
Very nice.
Chichi Rodriguez, Pedro Rodriguez, Pudge Rodriguez, or Aurelio Rodriguez?
All right. Very excellent choices there. We're working on lining up our next player at 954-417-0070. I'm reading this message board here out of the corner, and it looked like it said Rocky was ready to play here, but it was an old message.
Now,
so we apologize here for the delay. Yes.
Yeah, next week I'm hoping to go up to Tampa Bay Downs. One of my neighbors in Pennsylvania, husband and wife, are turning 92 and 94 respectively. And I grew up with their
going
kids.
To the track?
On the 11th, no, the kids will be there, and some other friends are coming down from Pennsylvania. So I'm hoping to be at Oldsmar, I guess the 11th. Didn't you do some TV work there too?
I did. You know what? I had a great time. There was a season. There was some conflict here in the local media when these regional sports networks first came on board, and I was affiliated with what is now Bally Sports Florida and Bally Sports Sun, and it was Sunshine Network, and there was a big competition with Sports Channel was on the scene here. Sports Channel, which I believe was owned by Wayne Huizinga and run by his media henchman, whose name escapes me now, but he was not a big fan of mine for some reason. And so anyway, there was a clandestine kind of meeting that took place where Sports Channel ended up getting the show that we were doing, the replay show, for the Gulfstream meet. It was a little bit of a, you would say, incestuous relationship going on in business there. The details don't really matter anymore. So to keep the show alive, we went to the guys that were running the Sunshine Network and said, why don't we do like these 8 weeks from Tampa Bay Downs? And we made the arrangements. And at first, we were received rather adversely by the management there because they thought we were kind of, cutting into the territory of their allies in Ocala. And we said, hey, wait a minute, what could be better for you? I mean, the track was not really, as in focus and in vogue to bet as obviously it is now. And, the quality of racing was not anywhere near what they have right now because they're, pretty good, B grade track, you would say?
Yeah.
If you're considering, the racing at Gulfstream and Belmont to be in the A grade. So anyway.
You can get turf there, yep.
Yeah, but it turned out great. It really did. The people couldn't have been any nicer once we got going there, and we made a lot of good friends, and had nothing but fun bringing the races from Tampa Bay during that period of time. All right, dial us up if you want to play. We'll come back in just a moment here at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Well, while we have a minute, let's get another pop for Perdomo Cigars, Dave Gurgles Gurgley.
Yeah, boy. Whether you're a cigar smoker or whether you're buying a gift for someone who does smoke cigars, that's definitely the place to go. The local tobacconists are great people. They have small little shops. You're going into a huge warehouse with factory direct prices right to you right there. The Cuban seed tobacco grown in Nicaragua, and Nick is there. Nick Jr. is there. His daughter-in-law is there. It's a family affair, as Sly the Family Stone would say. But they've also got Cigar of the Year with the 20th anniversary, the Maduro. It's a great, great cigar as well. And you can make your pick of cigars. I went there. I've got a lot 23. I'll probably smoke maybe Friday night while I'm looking at the racing form. And you can go there for any occasion. Where is it? That's easy. 5150 Northwest 167th Street. If you're heading east on the Palmetto or after you go around the big curve the other way, you'll see it on the right side. If you're going from the Golden Glades west, you'll see it on your left side. Easy to find, easy to get to, easy to reach, 305-627-6700. And go online, PerdomoCigars.com. But also go to YouTube, like we're on, to Perdomo Cigars and see Nick explain the whole situation, how he got into it, and how his great cigars are better than your average cigar. That's
all right,
it for Perdomo Cigars.
Excellent. We made an executive decision. We're going to go to the finals in just a minute here of the program. Fine. So we're coming back with that Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We will square off Andy and Ron for the championship, or so we hope, of this colossal game. And one of those guys is going to walk away with a Landlubbers gift certificate. And Lenny's been shut out. He's going Lincoln Kennedy. I'm full. So, maybe that alone was a giant accomplishment here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Yeah, that's a win. O.J. McDuffie going to discuss all of this nonsense that's going on with the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League. What appears to be, you would be a good one to answer this question because it came up on a show yesterday. Is Dave Gurgles Gurgly, Don Shula, rolling over in his grave with the disgrace that seems to be about to come upon the Miami Dolphins as an outfit when it was a symbol and emblematic of such dignity and class when Shula was the guy running the show and the face of the team?
I don't think he'd be rolling over in his grave, but if he had sound coming out from the earth, you'd hear some words that you could say on YouTube only.
You imagine? Yeah, I mean, how the mighty have fallen, I guess you would have to look at.
Yes.
That's a long way from what it was when I first rolled into the St. Thomas University practice facility, and I was thinking, my God, that's Don Shula. What's he doing in this dump? No, I mean, but the reverence that you would have for a man of that stature, and of course it was great because at that time it was a kinder, gentler NFL. This could never happen today, I don't think, where the reporters actually sat around a table and chewed the fat at lunchtime with Shula, and he was very candid during that period of time. He was kind of guarded in his press conference, stature, when he was up there giving kind of general statements, but very casual and cool with the reporters during the exhibition season and of course, all of the practice that they have before the regular season got underway. But what a dump of a facility, huh? That hotel reminded me of some of the cheesy motels I used to hang out in when I was on hiatus from wife number 2. Like Lucky's was a convenient spot there, but I don't know what else went on there besides me staying there for like weeks at a time. All right, we'll come back and play the championship round of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment. O.J. McDuffie, Miami Dolphin, great. What a great guy, too. We ran into O.J., and he was representing a woman who was in the beach barbecue battle that they had. That's what the word was. It was like a Don King thing I was looking for. Beach barbecue battle. And there's OJ with the lovely Juliet, who I think is about to get the brick and mortar store going for her barbecue, nice. Which they were lined up. I mean, people were falling into the pool waiting online to try and taste this. And there's a Juice. I mean, and a couple of friends of mine didn't know who he was, because they just moved here like in the last couple of years and didn't see his career. And, even though they're football fans. And my buddy Southern Brian comes over and says, who's O.J. McDuffie?
Oh, my God.
I said, well, a longtime Dolphin, played at Penn State, had a great football career. And he said, what a great guy. And that was his comment. What a great guy. And that's the way O.J. is. So he's going to join us shortly. All right, the finals coming up. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:19.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go. A great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Hear me. I am your new president. From this day on, the official language of San Marcos will be Swedish. Silence. In addition to that, all citizens will be required to change their underwear every half hour. Underwear will be worn on the outside so we can. Furthermore, all children under 16 years old are now 16 years old.
What's the Spanish word for straitjacket?
Power has driven him mad.
Welcome back to the Defo Show.
Dave, is your mic on?
Yeah.
I hear you.
I can't hear him.
Deforrest.
I can't hear Jeff.
None of us hear Jeff. So is
coming from him then.
He's speaking, but he's not there, which is so fun.
I've had that for 25 years.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good time. Let's see. We do that. Defo. This is the Defo Show. We have Defo there. You can see him. We are going to go to the finals. We have to figure out what the hell's going on with Defo's microphone. But as we do that, we're going to turn over to the one and only Dave Gurgles Gurgley, as we have Andy Mann with 1 point and Ron with two really great scores, fitting of the finals. You guys know the rules. The first guy, we will say the question. If you know the answer, say your name. If you don't, we will give the choices. And if you know the answer, say your name. We will go back and forth until we have a winner. And we now turn it over to the one and only Dave Gurgles Gurgley for the finals. Andy.
Wait a minute. They can't have two people on the line. Who's first for the answer?
No,
right?
No, we did it. I figured out what was wrong here.
Oh, you did it? Oh, okay, good.
To avoid the throat clearing incident on the show, I potted my mic down and forgot to put it back up. It was that simple.
Okay.
I'm looking around going, what the hell could have happened here? What kind of a joke? It's Lubie's fault. Of course it's Lubie's fault. Hit something, Lubie.
I can't do it.
Play something. All right, here are the finals. Well,
all right, we ready?
You
everyone's
came
both
up big
guys
on
are there.
pressure.
Both can talk. Both guys are there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, guys. Good luck. Pro Bowl again coming up this weekend. We want to know who was the last quarterback to win back-to-back MVPs in the Pro Bowl. Last quarterback to win back-to-back MVPs in the Pro Bowl.
All right.
Anybody?
Here are the choices.
Was it Matthew Stafford, Rich Gannon, Jim Kelly, or Carson Palmer?
Andy, I'll go with Rich Gannon.
Correct. Nice job.
2001,
Man.
right on the button. Well done.
And I believe that Tua Tagovailoa has a good chance to become the next Rich Gannon. I really do. Which is no, total disgrace. I mean, what's wrong with that? Late in your career, you have a couple of good years with the Raiders, and you go out the door and you get yourself a broadcasting job. Nothing wrong with that.
Rich Gannon's story. When you couldn't make the NFL cruise, I went on there, introduced all the players and everything like that. Rich Gannon spoke to all the little kids on deck, telling them how important the Lord was in his life, and you should be very religious, very respectful. That night I seen him in the casino playing blackjack. He goes, shit, they burned me again. So, so much for Rich Gannon as far as I'm concerned.
Making many disparaging remarks about the Asian dealer. Yes.
Well,
that is the worst thing you could see in Las Vegas. Honestly, you're on a little bit of a run at blackjack, and then all of a sudden, you see the pit boss come over with a new dealer at the table, and you look and go, Fu. That's an interesting name, P-H-U. And then you're thinking, dead meat. Never mind seasoned. I'm talking about just pure, raw, ugly, smelly, dead meat. That's what you're, facing against the
even
Asian
at
dealer.
Gulfstream in the second floor of the casino, they have the virtual blackjack.
Yeah,
and they promote it with a blonde with big lungs and everything like that. You sit down. As soon as you win two hands, they bring the black-haired little Asian lady and that's it. I'm done. Even virtually, they beat me.
You place bet now. Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah. It's true, though. I mean, you know what? You could any anti-defamation, suits that come our way on this one. Look, no one can dispute the truth. That's what they're, saying about Brian Flores, right? That if he's not telling the truth about Stephen Ross and the bribe offer or the incentive for losing, then what would be the point? I mean, it's just got to be the truth. All right, Dave, always a pleasure, my friend. Perdomo Cigars, great. Thank them for backing us here. And, of course, the great people at Hialeah Park and the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Congratulations to Andy, who is maybe our most loyal viewer and listener, I believe, on the program. And we certainly have great respect for them.
My wife yesterday was like, are those people on the chat real? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, are you guys just chatting to make it look? I'm like, no, they're real people. I'm like, Andy's actually very successful. He's like a hedge fund manager. He's like made tons of money. She's like, oh, that's good. I'm like, we're not that bad.
Can you have Andy talk to Jersey Kyle next time he has a situation like he did on the conference championship games, where all he had to do was hedge off 300.
Exactly.
And he would have come out a winner instead of losing the stick that he had up there in the first place after making a brilliant play and taking both underdogs on the money line. Very respectable move there, Dave Gurgles-Gurley. All right, Gurgles, I know you have to go to work. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend.
Deal.
Dave Gurgles-Gurley, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that was classic, yeah. Turn the mic down. Forgot
we'll be
to pop
fine because it's
it
something
back up.
accident, but I'm like, what the hell could have happened?
I'm looking. There's not even an off-on switch on this microphone, right? I've had this thing for about 6 months now, and I've never noticed that before. So I figured it had to be something, right? Fortunately, I was looking around. All right, we'll come back with O.J. McDuffie going to join us. It's always great talking to the Jews. He's one of the world's great Americans, and really, I've been a terrific player. And there's a lot there on the plate with the Brian Flores story, because O.J. obviously a black player who was in the league, and he has seen. I guess Eric Bieniemy would be the poster child for this frustration. It used to be Gene Upshaw.
He supposedly has a lawsuit. Like there's like 2 pages on Bieniemy, which I don't know how you prove or disprove the Bieniemy aspect, but
see, I don't know that the racism thing really, unfortunately, we see that it's fairly obvious that there's an inequity there. If you're looking at the league, and this has been talked about for years, this is nothing new. 20 years ago, they instituted their own condition that had to be satisfied because they thought, well, maybe that might be, and it turned out to be a very cosmetic token gesture, might be a way to absolve, or resolve this problem, because guys have a tendency to go with the same old retreads in NFL coaching hires, do they not? Now, lately, that trend has been broken, where they're getting all these new young guys that are supposed to be real sharp, like your man Brandon Staley down there in Los Angeles. Exactly. I was going to say San Diego, but and you're looking and going, man, I mean, you can't tell me that a black head coach could make these bozoic decisions consistently and
Keep
still
their
be
job.
highly regarded. And if this guy loses this job, he'll get another one tomorrow.
100%.
Right?
What do you mean? Dan Quinn was the guy everyone had at the top of the list, so he'll probably get another job. And all he had to do was tell his offensive coordinator, run. Like, that's all he had to do. And
He blew a Super Bowl with like a 30-point lead against a Tom Brady who wasn't performing up to his usual level of excellence. And even, in the comeback, that might have been the luckiest, great, catch by Julian Edelman when the four guys were on top of him and he bounced the ball off his elbow and his toe. I mean, literally, he looked like a juggler in a circus there at the bottom of a pile while he's getting crushed.
Yep.
And he comes up with the catch, and wasn't that like a fourth down or something? Brady threw a horrible pass there. I mean, just horrible. Was a disgrace of a play. All right, OJ is going to join us. A lot of fun talking football with OJ, and especially under the circumstances of all the controversy now. And a lot of, I thought Brian Flores comported himself very well. Did he not? I mean, he looked resolved, and resigned to the fact that this probably was going to finish his career.
He didn't look like the quote-unquote angry black man. He didn't look like a guy that was disgruntled. He looked someone who was truly frustrated with just every avenue. And was like, you know what? I'm going scorched earth because I don't know what else to do.
He's got an old school Bronx mentality, right?
Yes,
He's a kid from the Bronx, Brian Flores.
Brooklyn, I guess, is Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn, Bronx. I don't know. One of those boroughs. Brownsville. Yeah, that's Brooklyn. Yeah. It was a bad neighborhood when I lived there in the 50s, but it's become like, very high-end Brownsville.
Well, now. But when he grew up in the 80s and not in the 80s, it was still Brownsville.
50s, it wasn't uncommon, that you would come across a gang of kids of all different races and ethnicities, and that didn't really matter. There was a pretty good chance that they were ganging up on you and going to beat the shit out of you.
They were equal opportunity.
And you were resigned like, Russell Crowe in the Gladiator movie. We're going to lose some people here. This won't be easy. But if we stick together, we might beat this thing. Been watching a lot of Gladiator lately. All right, speaking of gladiators, a real warrior there with Danny Boy chucking a rock to him in desperate situations. He always came through. OJ McDuffie joins us next here on the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Our thanks to the people at Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Always a gas. Great job by Gurgles, and we'll come back with more on Ion Channel in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:33.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
You know, people don't like being lied to. That's always the thing. With Pete Rose, if he had just said, of course I bet the Reds. What are you talking about? I had money on every game. We know you did, Pete. It's all right. I mean, now it'd be accepted. In fact, they would have, it's only a matter of time before the manager of the two teams is asked who he likes in the game. All right, we're going down on the field there. We got Tony La Russa. Tony, what do you think tonight? White Sox minus 135? Well, you know, we're going to go to the pen right away, and I'm going to make like 7 righty-lefty switches at inappropriate times. And I'm going to wear on my bullpen. In fact, all of these guys worked in the game last night. So I would think this. I would take the points, take the runs, and take the price on the Boston Red Sox tonight to beat us. I would not lay 135 to win 100 on the Chicago White Sox. Okay, thanks, Tony. Let's go to Alex Cora. Cora, what do you got? Well, you know, we got all our heavy hitters at the beginning of the lineup tonight, and they really pound this White Sox pitcher the last time he was out there. So I would think that we're a good bet, money line, straight up. When's that going to happen? I mean, that's going to be part of the pregame shows now.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Once again, everybody. Our thanks once again to the people at Hialeah Park. Dave Gurgles Gurgley. It was a lot of fun having the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge conducted. And, of course, big news, the bombshell. And it seems like every news outlet, everywhere you look, somebody's speculating about this. And all over all of the big morning shows yesterday, ESPN, CBS News, Brian Flores, the head coach or former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And we welcome to the show, and this is great because I don't know that anybody would have a better perspective on this because he's been a Miami Dolphin and a diehard Miami Dolphin backer and fan. The great O.J. McDuffie joins us here. You remember O.J., of course, catching the rock in traffic from Dan Marino, who I can't imagine could have ever sent Marino out on the field and said, you know what, Danny boy, we'd like you to lose this game. We think we can pick up a wide receiver that has blinding speed there, and you got the juice on the other side. We're going to be unbeatable here. We'll even get you an offensive line and a running game. And, Marino would have, spit in the face of that idea. So we welcome to the show O.J. McDuffie, the recipient of many a great, just zip line type of pass from Dan Marino in traffic. O.J., how are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. How about yourselves? Good morning.
We're rolling.
Doing all right. I mean, Lubie sends me this thing, and I guess, I just want to let you, I'll tee it up for you here. And you give me your impression of what's happened, over the last couple of days since this news came forward about Brian Flores filing a federal lawsuit alleging racism in the NFL. Can you imagine? And, and at the same time, I thought, the racism is going to grab the headlines, but we all know that's been taking place for a long time. And they have yet to come up with a viable solution to, at least try to bring out some level of equality in that category. But, the thing about getting paid to lose ball games, that you're instructing your first-year head coach to lose games and you're offering him money as an incentive is beyond appalling to me. So I don't know where you stand on it. What were your thoughts, OJ, about what's transpired?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, assuming the league on the racist hiring or practice was a big thing at first. But then when you read more, about the paid to lose games things or offer to pay to lose games, that was shocking to me. We know teams tank, everybody tanks, but I think that's going above and beyond trying to tank right there. And, honestly, I mean, I feel bad for Coach Flo in terms of the way that was dealt with and that was handled because how it is, Defo. These coaches are only judged by their records.
Yes.
So if he goes and he's out there and he tanks, he goes 1-15. And say it doesn't work out the second year, then his record is held against him. Then he maybe gets fired, but he was fired doing something that you asked him to do.
Exactly.
And that's kind of messed up because we know the only people that have records in football are quarterbacks and head coaches.
Yep.
And they do it. They're still holding it against. They're holding it. Even last year, going 1-7. This past season going 1-7 and winning the last 8 out of 9. They still hold that 1-7 record against him. So he's under 500 as a head coach. So I just can't imagine. Then you hear about the yacht situation. It's just a mess, man. And like you said, it seems like every single year, and I said it, I think I tweeted it yesterday or put it on Facebook, it's like Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day for us. There's always something going on, and then the off season, we are the ones that people are looking at and just shaking their head at what's going on with the organization. So it's just tough as a former player, and it's definitely tough as a fan.
Well, and we're talking with OJ McDuffie. He's great on Twitter at OJ McDuffie 81. Also one of the co-hosts of the Fish Tank podcast at the Fish Tank 81. That's my take was you had just had Steve Wilkes do that, right? Didn't the Cardinals play horrible so they get the number 1 pick, get Kyler Murray so they can fire Steve Wilkes and go and get Cliff Kingsbury? So just because you're paying him that $100,000 a game, let's say he loses 15. Okay, that's 1.5. Yeah. He can make $3 to $4 million coaching. So once he won the 5, you had to keep him, and he shut them up. And the funny thing is, I was all about firing Flores in the sense that he never figured out the offense. But I've done a 180 because all the stuff that's come out is utterly ridiculous. And the fact that some people are actually defending Ross and the Dolphins, and I'm a Dolphin fan, seems a little ludicrous. Like, this is literally the one thing you can't do as a sport is have the coach losing on purpose. Yeah, you can have the GM whittle it down to rookies, and if they win, great.
Roster, do it through the roster.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't say go lose. Like, then what's the point of playing at all?
Well, also, Lubie, man, they want to tell us to go out there and play so hard and run through brick walls and do all this, and they're playing hard, but they're not coaching hard. You know what I mean? That's not right there. And I watched an interview with Hugh Jackson yesterday, which was outstanding. He feels that a lot of these times these black coaches get these jobs in these tank situations. Yep. You know what I mean? So they can start building the roster with these guys that are tanking, and then they get fired and they bring in somebody that's not a minority as the head coach with a roster that's built because the sacrificial lamb had to go out there and do what he had to do. Was told to do what he had to do, man. So it's a hot mess, man. It's just gonna be interesting to see how it all shapes out moving forward.
What do you think of our solution to the whole tanking problem in the NFL, which would be take the 18 teams that missed the postseason and give on a weighted lottery, the team that came the closest, had the best record, has the best chance of securing the number 1 pick. So you have some incentive to battle your eyeballs out. I guess the one negative there is it may be beneficial not to make the playoffs. But if they did something along those lines where the team with the worst record didn't automatically, out of futility, get an opportunity to have perhaps, every, a few years or so, somebody comes along that you say, wow, this guy's going to carry us to the top. It doesn't always happen, but you look at Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Certainly they made other moves that led to their level of efficiency now. But, they essentially went from a 2-win team, and in 2 years of having Burrow at quarterback are in the Super Bowl. So it's possible to do, but, you can't incentivize teams to want to lose to put themselves in that position. I think they need to reverse the order of the way the teams that don't make the playoffs pick.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's kind of NBA-ish in terms of the lottery. I think it makes
something.
Sense.
Yeah,
you might have the worst chance of getting a chance to first pick, but at least you have a chance at it. And it probably will minimize some of that. I just feel bad a lot of times for players. You start thinking about our roster now. We started trading away players, and big-time players. We always thought it's because they didn't want to be here or this or that. And who knows what they were doing when you start making those roster moves. That's the reason that you're doing it, like you said, Lucas, they putting a bunch of rookies out there and, some have at it with a whole bunch of all pros, But you're right, though, man. If they can do something about this, incentivize people, just incentive to, get more draft picks, that's not working. The Rooney Rule, that's not working. What thing what made me more upset, I think, is when Brian Dable was told by the Giants that, the other guy's more qualified. How's Dable more qualified than Brian Flores? He's never been he's never been a head coach. He's been in he's been in the trenches here 3 years, that's the stuff right there that's a slap in the face, It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, and the other thing, I mean, you looked at Brian Flores' first year. I mean, and now in light of these new, revelations or possibly revelations, and now they're just assertions on Flores' part. But it does appear there seems to be, and you wouldn't think that he would do this unless he knew that he could at least prove the allegations about the bribery there and had something. And supposedly there's like, emails or some kind of communication, that is not deletable from Chris Greer, suggesting that he just does what Ross wanted and lose games. That's despicable.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. What shakes out with this, and and it's got to be for him to come out. It's like it's such a believable story. So everybody's thinking that he's got this bitter beer face or whatever he's got going on. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, this seems incredibly credible in what he's saying, man. And it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate for a lot of people. And like you talk about with Chris, I mean, Chris probably, just doing what his boss said, and a lot of people do that. People have talked about other coaches that haven't, why are they waiting to come out? A lot of people couldn't come out of this. You know what I mean? It's like some people can't just come out and say this is going on because they have to sit in there and make that money, make that coin and work. Players can't do it. When players start talking, they get, they end up getting let go because they're not big enough. They don't have a big enough, they don't have enough clout to be able to go out there and do something. So what coach is doing, and probably what Chris had to do as well, was, listen to whatever your owner's probably saying. And that's, but like I said, it happens all the time, but it's just never been so public about it. Teams been tanking for forever, especially in the NFL. And, unfortunately, our team is the one that's caught up in another situation that, has nothing to do with really what we want to be doing this all season in terms of draft and free agency and getting better, getting a head coach.
Well, and the big thing about the revelation, the first part that was supposed to be the big issue and what Flores is really focused on, but of course we went with the thing that really underscores the integrity of the game, but the Rooney Rule and the massive ineffectiveness of it. And it is another joke to this point where you're openly hiring guys, but still doing interviews. You're walking in and the Elway thing was from the Broncos was the last hiring cycle before he got a job. That's what's classic.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay. As a player, you were going on when the Rooney Rule, I think, was instituted, right? What are the players' ideas about this rule? And what do players, because again, the league's 73% African-American, like what do players think? Because the coaches, the owners, the GMs, the coaching staffs don't represent the people on the field.
Right. It's definitely not a reflection at all, right? It's, and I look at what Flo said and, reference to plantation type mentality. I mean, that Defo, you've been to Combine a couple of times. It really starts off at Combine where they got you up there in your underwear on like stage, where everybody is looking at your body like, what the hell? I've seen that in the movie Roots.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Alex Haley's movie, exactly the same thing.
It's Alex Haley time.
So,
yes.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's like the same. It felt like the same way when you look up there and these guys are sitting up there, these billionaires sitting in these nice plush suites where these, like Flo said, down there, guys are on there, risking limb and brain and body and, and frozen tundras and all over the place and, 90 degree, 95% humidity, heat, just so they can make billions of dollars, man. And it's true, man. There's nobody up there in those boxes other than, the 31 owners that are white, couple GMs that are minority, and then the rest is, coaches. And it's pretty sad demographic compared to what it looks like on the field.
You were in a league a long time, and you're still around it. A couple of things for O.J. McDuffie here on the Defo Show. Do you think? Do you believe that black players don't even think about going into coaching because of what they've seen? Is that a problem? Is it a discouraging element? And
no, I think they all want to coach. So I really do. I think they all do want to coach. I think they realize there's a ceiling for the most part, though. And they also realize the pressure of getting to these top positions, the pressure to win. And that's one thing that Flo, the pressure to win is astronomical. You see some guys that, hover around mediocrity a lot as head coaches, and if they're white, they get a chance to hang around a little bit longer. I'm good friends with Jim Caldwell, and Jim Caldwell, had 3 winning seasons in Detroit, 2 of them going to the playoffs, and that wasn't good enough. But anybody else come along, they've hung on and hung on and hung on. you know what I mean, and giving them opportunities. You know, I love Dan Campbell, but you know his team has been atrocious. I know they're you know they lost some people, but they love him up there. How is that possible when you're not winning games?
Because he's a crazy man. He's going to eat a lion before the season opener next year, right there in the middle of the field. Yeah. No, he's a nut job. How well did you know Brian Flores? Did you have any kind of relationship with him beyond just the fact that he was a Dolphins head coach? Did you get to integrate with him at all? In person?
Yeah, I met him the first time he was here. He had me come in and talk to the team about life, living in South Florida, and the combination of football and lifestyle and things to do and not do. So he had me up in front of the team, and we sat down and we broke bread afterwards. And then every once in a while, I'll talk to his best buddy Lance, and we'll just, shoot some texts off back and forth, man. And, but my thing with Flo, I didn't really have that personal interaction with him all the time. But I do know some guys in the training room, the equipment room, cafeteria people, some front desk people that have been there since I was there, you know what I mean? And they all love the man. So whenever they were talking about how he treated people, I said, well, wait a minute, I've heard some great things about this guy from everybody I know. So, man, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's the way he treated or talked to the owner and talked to Chris and talked to Tua is what got him kicked out of there.
People are comparing his position here to, Colin Kaepernick. I think a better comparison was a baseball player, Curt Flood, who said that he should be able to decide his own destiny after playing many years with the Cardinals. They traded him to Philadelphia, and he didn't want to go. And, he was the guy that actually triggered free agency, I guess you would have to say in all sports, because I think baseball was the first to have some system of free agency. And he was crucified by fans and media as being some kind of wild militant. What level of respect do you have for the fact that, and as he said in his interviews, Brian Flores was openly aware of the fact that, this could be career suicide in terms of ever coaching again, with zero guarantee that there's going to be any kind of monetary compensation for his claims.
Right. Yeah. And he could be. I mean, he's going to be a guy that he probably has lost his opportunity to coach in the league. And for two, there's a chance that he will lose this class action lawsuit. But at the same time, though, look at the attention that is drawing right now. I mean, there's nobody's ever stepped forward like this in a Colin Kaepernick way as a head coach, as a black head coach. So I think that, he knows that he's going to have a tough time getting, employment as a coach. But at least he's doing something to setting the roads down for future guys, and future owners to sit back and look and think about, what he's saying and what he's doing. It's a good old boy network out there, man. And they control everything. Those 32 owners. I mean, it's not just white men. There are a lot of white men that couldn't get in there. I think Donald J. Trump tried to be an owner, right? And they said, I don't know if you can do what we need to do. But you see what the owners look like. But no matter what, I think Coach Flo is going to be able to at least influence somebody, and give somebody a chance down the road. But I think that he might have committed career suicide in the NFL. But then again, he's going to be. Somebody's going to hire. He's going to be coaching somewhere. It might not be at the NFL level, but he will be coaching somewhere. That's for sure.
All right. Yeah, I would like to believe that. It seems like, obviously very toxic when it comes to the National Football League. And now he's pointed a finger right in the face of a couple of, fabled organizations, the New York Giants, Miami Dolphins, and, of course, implicated that the Denver Broncos were very fraudulent also. So that was interesting. All right. What do you –
What do you think about the Denver story, though? They came in late. L.A. was good. What do you think about that? That is
sounds classic. Yeah,
I mean, I think if it was otherwise, Flores would have been land-based and never got a job. Like, if that's the funny thing is, if it's Flores, a black guy walking into an interview an hour late, looking like he's wasted.
Drunk,
Oh my God, he would have been
right. Right. He'll never get another interview. And that'd be disseminated throughout the whole NFL like that. You know what I mean? It would have been so quick throughout the whole NFL, that this is how he showed up. He was late. He was out all night in Denver. Yeah, that'd been crazy, man. It's just lack of respect, I think, for for a candidate that was just there to satisfy the rules.
Yep.
All right. Well, why can't defensive backs catch O.J. McDuffie?
Man, you know what's so funny? Because they all played on both sides of the ball growing up. And they just stopped working those ball drills, man. They stopped working those ball drills. And you can never stop doing your ball drills. It's like batters. You got to go in the cage every day. You can't stop hitting and expect to hit. You got to keep catching those things,
It's crazy. My buddy's sitting on a $900 score. If somehow San Francisco prevails on the money line and wins the game outright against the Rams, Stafford, who is now being hailed as a hero, and throws a ball that is in the breadbasket
It's a duck, yeah.
of an awaiting safety who's all alone. It wasn't like one of these O.J. McDuffie catches where four guys were draped all over you and the refs don't blow the whistle ever, and Marino decides to fire one in there, because you're his most reliable receiver. This hit the guy in the shoulder pads after he let it slip through his hands and bounces off his foot and onto the ground. Or San Fran's in the Super Bowl. I mean, that always amazes me that guys can drop balls in that situation. All right, what do you think of the matchup? Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. A little Cinderella story going here with Cincinnati.
You're an Ohio guy, right?
Yeah, well, I've been riding Cincinnati the whole time. I rode Cincinnati before they got to the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. People were laughing at me, and sure enough, they made me look good, So I'm going to keep riding them. I'm going to keep riding them Bengals.
Good for you.
All right, very good. Now, were you a fan of Skyline Chili? We've been having this debate with Mike Mayo, the gambling gourmet, who probably covered the Dolphins when you were playing for the team. And he wisely moved on and became the food critic for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And he's still involved, obviously been eating a lot. But nonetheless, he's a fan of Skyline Chili, which is that not a signature chain of, fast food places all throughout the state of Ohio?
Yeah, I was. There were a few down here. I think they closed since.
Yes, and I think rightfully so. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you feel a fan, but yeah, I don't. They should have. I'm not a fan at all. I know they're popular in Ohio, but they are. You might as well. I hate to say it, you might as well eat that while you're on the toilet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make a chili that bland. It really is. And then put it over like poorly cooked spaghetti. Not even,
John is like, this is so good, it's so good, but then he's got all this stuff he got to do to make it taste good. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
I thought it was just good. Why you got to put all this stuff on to mask this thing?
It's disgusting. I mean, the first time I went there, I was with a girl who was from Ohio, and she said, "Oh, this is my favorite place." It was the one on Federal Highway that's now going to be like a gas station.
Right.
And I guess it was a gas station then, and I didn't want to insult her because I was trying to get in good favor with her. And, so I ate this stuff and it was horrible. And I had to pretend like Stephen Ross that nothing happened there, that it was great. What do you think of Stephen Ross's statement, by the way, just real quickly, wrapping up on that whole issue?
Well, I still work for the Dolphins Defo, so whatever Dolphin says,
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I appreciate the fact you really weren't treading water here on this, until now, which you're wisely. I mean, I don't know if you got a message from anybody that said, "Hey, we're listening."
You've been honest, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, great stuff, OJ. Always a pleasure, my friend. Now, did the bowling tournament take place already? Your charity bowling event?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's coming up February 20th at Spares and Davy. They can still get on. Still a couple lanes left, but it's sold out pretty quick right now. So, but it's coming up in a couple weeks, actually.
Does Lubie need to bring his own ball and shoes if he participates, or can he use an alley ball and just rent a pair with like 10 and a hook on the back?
I don't play with juice, but I'll play.
I want to be on your team, man. You're the ringer in this thing. Are you the only guy in a tournament with a 300 game, OJ?
See, there's quite a few. There's a couple bowling lanes. There's a couple houses that come out there that can bowl, and they usually win the championship. There's Manor lanes out there. They got
classic. Will Manners.
Yep, sure enough, man. My man Dwight and his crew comes out there, and they've been dominating so far. So you might want to come down, take out the champs, man. We got some beautiful pins, got trophies, man. Big ass trophies, man. It's so much fun.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, should be great. Maybe we'll get Lubie in there with one of those open lanes. Juice, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much, man. We love and it was great seeing you at that barbecue battle with Juliet, right? I mean, did she win the thing?
Juliet. No, man, she didn't win. Man. I don't know how she didn't, bro.
She lost out to that pastrami, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. Something that wasn't even barbecue. You know what I mean? It wasn't even barbecue. You can't. How you need to come into a barbecue competition with pastrami, bro? You know what I mean?
Pastrami. Yeah, what the hell, man? I thought I was at a Jewish deli when I went to that stand. It was unbelievable. Well, you were great out there. My friends said they weren't familiar with your football career. They're not really giant sports fans. And my buddy says to me, hey, who's O.J. McDuffie? I said, that guy was a great football player. He goes, I tell you what, he is one great guy. So that's the impression you leave everybody with, Juice, and we appreciate you taking time to come on the show. Thanks for being with us.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me on, fellas. Take care.
All right. That is very true about O.J. McDuffie.
He's
guy.
a great dude. Like, he's a great dude.
Always makes you feel good. I mean, some people have that characteristic. Very few. It's rare, right?
Yep.
Leslie Visser meets some stranger in a bar. Yeah, he just always makes that person feel good about themselves, which is a real talent for somebody that has, that level of accomplishment. In Leslie's case, broadcasting. Juice was a hell of a football player. There's no doubt about that. All right, very interesting. All of that, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Fun day today. We'll do it tomorrow as we'll have the Degenerate Friday going. Brought to you by Gulfstream Park and the great people at Deal Volkswagen. And we'll get some Super Bowl stuff. Mark Lawrence, very good with prop bets on the Super Bowl. I would imagine he'll give us some of that. Mark Lawrence of PlaybookSports.com. Jersey Kyle with Adventures from Las Vegas, so we can reminisce about some of the things that happened there. It was a classic. And, of course, we will also have the Gambling Gourmet, Mike Mayo, with us tomorrow, talking about food, glorious food. Food scene in Las Vegas is great. You're going to pay a price.
Well, it's just expensive. It's amazing.
But there's great food everywhere. I mean, like great food everywhere in Las Vegas. And it's not so much the buffet scene anymore because those have become kind of pricey. It's almost, more affordable and, a little more, of a, casual thing or, a better experience to just go to a fancy restaurant at this point. Because how much can you, well, you would benefit from the buffet at any price, Lubie. My theory is how many meals can you really, shovel into your face at one sitting, where you're having the roast beef, the chicken, the duck. I mean, you can only do so much at those buffets. How many times do you go back up there? Twice? I guess 2 times is regulation.
I do two, and I do a dessert. Like, I can never do more than that. Like, some people be pounding it, and I'm like, I can't eat that much.
I love the people that have like a pyramid of food on their plates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually some fat guy in cowboy boots, with some kind of Western clothing on. When you see them at the buffets in Las Vegas, I'm talking about, and you're thinking, just get another plate there, Joe. Right? You look like an ass, with this thing piled to the ceiling there, and everybody's looking at you and going, no wonder you're fat. I don't know. Maybe these people are not even remotely self-conscious. That's possible. I mean, not everybody's paranoid from being in this business like you and I are. Like, paranoia strikes deep, my friends. All right, with that, don't be paranoid about betting on the Super Bowl. We'll have a lot of advice and information and input for you and all kinds of gambling fanfare tomorrow on our Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Friday. That's here on Ion Channel. Sure. And I'm hoping we can start with those video commercials like tomorrow. That would be good, Libby. I don't know exactly what we have to do on our end to get that accomplished, but wow, that's going to be dynamite. So we'll see you tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here on the show and playing the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And, of course, O.J. McDuffie was great with a lot of insight into what goes on in professional football. We will see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. as we leave you know that.
The time.
I don't know. This Brian Flores looks pretty sincere to me. It's 9:02.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.